Restored Republic via a GCR. Update as of Sunday 29 August 2021. Compiled Sunday 29 August 2021 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by Judy Byington. MSW. LCSW. Therapist Ret. Journalist. Author. 22 Faces. Inside the Extraordinary Life of Jenny Hill and Her 22 Multiple Person. Several clerks working inside the Supreme Court have confirmed that the justices will be hearing the case to reinstate President Trump to his rightful place in the White House. John Solomon. On Friday 27 August. The downstreaming of Tier 3 to 4A account funds finished. On Saturday 22 August. There was large global bank and financial industry meetings in Iraq involving all 207 participating countries. They were celebrating the global currency reset. On Saturday 22 August. Bondholder notifications were set to go out, with liquidity on Tuesday. 31 August by Monday 13 September. Tier 4B was to be finished exchanging so rates could be adjusted for the Tier 5 public start of exchanges on Wednesday 15 September. On Wednesday 25 August. GCR began to be fully implemented, which resulted in the deep state, CIA Afghan twin suicide bombers attack at the Kabul airport on Thursday. 26 August. This past week the fake Biden admin people had shared intel with the Taliban that produced a virtual kill list for deep state ISIS-K forces. This was likely why Biden just announced that there may be further terror attacks in Kabul. He and his deep state handlers were plotting such right now. The Nasara GCR public announcement was expected around 9/11 Sat. The 11th of September A. Saturday 28 August. Nick Fleming Group call on false information. A lot going on right now. Afghanistan, with the soldiers, with military, a lot of misinformation going around. People are regurgitating old news today and it's not the case. So many changes have taken place. We're at a point to where people that are putting out stuff about trusts, are wrong. People that are putting out stuff on procedures are wrong. This past week there were people that were called in and did test exchanges at $3.85 and there were 100s. We've had people that went into Chase and we know what they experienced, and we will share. The people that are under NDAs are not talking about their exchange. Those who are under brokers, are under in a daisy chain and not talking. The UST will hold your principal accounts. Any banks we work with will be our preference. Each account holder will have a UST representative that can be contacted to support movement of money. Non-interest-bearing accounts keep your name and assets out of eyes of the banking system. All SafeLink websites are the same. The person putting out the information, Bruce, Nick, IDC, they will all be the same. There are no changes between each. There's no need for wealth managers, because they're focused on investing your dollars for profit. No profit will be needed on this asset because the UST will guarantee an annual return, paid quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. The redemption centers are all located in the bank, and not outside. You decide when you make your appointment, which bank you will choose to do business with. You can bring your trust IN with you, and it can be revocable or irrevocable, doesn't matter. One trust for each currency will be needed. You will bring your IN into the exchange and information on trustee, and you put your name. They will confirm you and use this to open account. You can use the skeleton trust offered by the bank, not a problem. There will be international rate and contract rate, and this is up to the bank, depending on your presentation and discussions. Every bank will be charging fees, in addition to UST fee which is 2% of all currencies bonds exchanged. Although there were 23 currencies in the basket, now Afghanistan is removed. Everything else remains. The ZIM bond is now being treated like ZIM currency. It will be exchanged with an international rate and contract rate. Contract rate is only available for oil-producing countries, including VND, Vietnam, IQD, Iraq, VES, Venezuela, IRR, Iran, maybe, ZIM, Zimbabwe bonds, and must accompany project outline and discuss 4 gold-backed currencies now, VND, IRR, IQD, VES. All money will be held in USN, by the UST, except for operating capital, which you will place in a bank. All deals you participate in will include discussions with both the bank and the UST, should the bank be involved. NASARA will be slow-rolled into existence. For now though, we will continue with the status quo, with IRS, with no taxes due on exchange, only on interest earned post-exchange. Exchange process has changed and now is even simpler. There will be no NDA, unless you pursue contracts, and even then, it's possible that will be waived. The need for silence is your protection. The federal government will all be changing, along with state and local government, once the Supreme Court determines that election fraud has been in place. All government will eventually change. This will take time. We may or may not see Biden administration stepping down. We are not waiting for the U.S. or the Treasury, or anything else, because Iraq has thrown the switch. This is done. A lot of information is being regurgitated. Much of this is new information as of yesterday, as such. It will take 20 to 30 minutes to just set up accounts. They're targeting 20 minutes. ZIM will be managed on the second appointment. Projects will be discussed in the second appointment. Although facilitated by the bank, these accounts are being set up as offshore accounts. Where is the list where we can post our project ideas for others to participate in? The list that will be made available when you go to exchange are NGOs, already approved and licensed under UN, World Bank, as qualified non-profits. No, you can't post your project ideas for exchange. Not at this time. What if you want to split your ZIM 50-50 for projects allocation and the other 50% for your personal use? Can't do it. You have to take all your ZIM in for projects, or all your ZIM for personal, one or the other. You can work out what you want to do with your private banking contact, such as buying a home, or a car, even if you're doing a project. Your project will pay you a nice salary and can hold your home and car. You will be able to manage everything you want to do. Best bet is to get some other currencies now, to use for personal use, while you still can. Then, there's no issue and no discussion. What needs to be done to qualify for projects? Bring an overview in ZIM misinformation. Tony's Intel call on Friday the 27th of August. Saying that you could only redeem 2009 ZIM notes and not 2008 ZIM notes was misinformation. We would have no problem redeeming the 2008 AA ZIM bond at redemption appointments. The ZIM note was handled by the company, Bank World Notes, that carried the official contract on ZIM notes with Zimbabwe. They only produced the 2008 ZIM notes for redemption and not a 2009 version. B. Warning. Food and goods shortages. Food and goods prices were going up. You were urged to stock up on at least 2 to 3 weeks of food and necessities for a shortage that may have begun on Friday, the 27th of August, when U.S. truckers were slated to go on strike. Truckers around the world could be on strike by Tuesday, the 31st of August. The Chinese Communist Party has closed their world's largest shipping dock in China, and stores like Walmart and Sam's have been stocking up on supplies for the pending shortage. Because of problems receiving inventory, Sam's and Walmart would be raising prices by 25%, especially in chicken, dairy, lunch meat and produce, the shortages of which were caused in part by shutdowns of meat processing plants worldwide. According to the World Health Organization, we were approaching up to 30% to 40% increase in the cost of food worldwide. C. USA financial system collapse is imminent. History will be repeated. Only this time it will be 10x worse. Donald Trump is right. Unemployment rate is actually much closer to an astonishing 40%. https://bit.ly/takeoverusanow.now. Inflation rates are calculated without including food and gas, the two largest areas of all in our economy. The real inflation rate today, including gas and food, is actually much closer to a sky-high, 12%. This video will show you how to prepare for the coming financial system collapse. ISIS brief history. Obama's CIA created ISIL, which became ISIS, a main creator and distributor of illegal drugs across the globe. Trump destroyed ISIS and locked up the remaining terrorists at the Bagram airport. Biden's military abandoned Bagram, allowing the Taliban to release the ISIS terrorists. ISIS then became ISIS-K and attacked Kabul airport, killing Americans and Afghans. The Afghanistan collapse has signaled world nations to abandon the petrodollar and cut off a main supplier of illegal drugs, guns and child sex trafficking across the globe. The real news for Saturday 28 August 2021. Several clerks working inside the Supreme Court have confirmed that the justices will be hearing the case to reinstate President Trump to his rightful place in the White House. John Solomon, former Newsmax host John Cardillo, says that he received information from high-ranking source that the intelligence community knows that President Joe Biden is cognitively disabled, and that they argued with him not to give a certain order on Afghanistan. High-ranking source in IC told me IC officials know Biden is cognitively disabled. They argued with him to not give the order. He became combative and did it anyway. They're concerned for global stability. Sentiment is that Kamala will at least make lucid decisions, Cardillo wrote. Daily Mail. Biden, at the age of 78, suffered from 2 brain aneurysms and a heart attack that causes dizziness and confusion. Tucker Carlson on Fox News. Old Joe is not just incompetent and weak. He is also delusional, crazy, without a sense of self-esteem. The event to go down on Biden. Everyone blames Biden. Military overturns the election. King Trump saves the day. Hero. The king steps aside. The opposition charges the king's position. A major event goes down. Fake. Global war scenario activating all militaries worldwide. In real life, the police and court system rule the land. Nasara, GCR comes in. All judges, police and lawyers must stand down worldwide. The corrupt ones arrested. The others retrained in constitutional 1776 law. Back to the chessboard. By activating a world war scenario, the king's men, military, go from being pawns and bishops, the police, to becoming kings and queens. They then mop up the other team. Flawless. Planet Earth liberated. 1776. Do Anons know what is about to be unleashed? Cue this exactly. On Sunday 29 August. Devastating hurricane #Ida could make landfall on Katrina's anniversary as New Orleans braced for a direct hit. Final wake-up call. I have a question regarding the plan. Executive Order 13848 declaring a national emergency by President Trump against foreign interference into U.S. elections was signed in 2018. On September of 2020, he extended it for 1 year, which brings us to September 10, 2021. If the military doesn't make any moves on or before the 10th of September, are they no longer covered by law to do anything as there is no longer a national emergency? Final wake-up call. I have a question regarding the plan. Executive Order 13848 declaring a national emergency by President Trump against foreign interference into U.S. elections was signed in 2018. On September of 2020, he extended it for 1 year, which brings us to September 10, 2021. If the military doesn't make any moves on or before the 10th of September, are they no longer covered by law to do anything as there is no longer a national emergency? In reply to Viper 17,762,021. A very good question, Viper. Indeed, the indications are everything is planned and under control for or before 9/11. There is good feeling that the transition is very near, and its initiation could happen before 9/11. Wait and see. As I wrote on FWC channel Telegram in Progress Update 26 August 2021 where more details are explained. Follow daily my articles published in 6 languages, English at the top and Italian at the bottom. Trust the plan. Huber has everything. Right after Trump's 2016 inauguration, he hired U.S. Attorney General from Utah John Huber and 270 investigators, who over the following years have filed over 500,000 sealed indictments and held state grand juries against global and political. Tuesday night 29 June to early morning hours of Wednesday 30 June over 700 arrests were made throughout the United States, UK and EU on the Central Intelligence Agency NDS. It was the largest mass arrests so far in a 32-hour time frame, with lots of flights to Gitmo in the prior 8 days. The MSM was not reporting on the arrests, but creating distractions. The military federal marshals moved on behalf of sealed indictments and important evidence, files and servers provided by Zhang Jingwei, the real Kim Shady. Although there are no diamond mines in Israel, diamonds are their biggest export. How do you make diamonds from ashes? First you need the bodies, and then you need the ashes. From ashes to diamonds. Tiffany diamonds. Human ashes? Diamonds are an allegory for children. They take everything literal. They pervert the truth. Give back the diamonds. Donald J. Trump. Official McAfee. Instead of me sharing. Look for yourself. Be prepared. This explains why POTUS had to step aside. O 13848. Explains the entire covert operation. How else was the NSA going to give it back to the people? The greatest military intelligence operation the planet has ever seen. Taking down a 6,000-year-old cult. I have showed the bloodline war. I have shown it all. Audit update in Arizona. State Attorney General Mark Brnovich said that his office has determined that the Maricopa County Supervisory Board violates state laws by failing to comply with the Arizona Senate subpoenas related to the audit 2020 elections. If the Supervisory Board does not change its course, the Prosecutor General will notify the state treasurer of the withholding of the state funds allocated to him until the board fulfills this requirement. It can be up to $70 million. And according to state laws, they have 30 days to fulfill. The killer of Robert F. Kennedy, Saran received parole in California. The mayor of New Orleans says that there will not be enough time to evacuate residents from the city before Hurricane Ida hits the state. New Orleans Mayor Cantrell is urging residents to evacuate as a major Category 4 Hurricane Ida is expected to make landfall near the city. City officials say this a life-or-death serious situation. The Capitol Hill officer who killed Ashley Babbitt tells Lester Holt, "I was just doing my job," ridiculously claiming to have saved countless lives of his unarmed victim. Breaking report. Official complaint filed with UN Human Rights Committee over mistreatment of Jan. 6 prisoners. 9/11. They never thought people who filmed the attacks on 9/11 with their JVC Handycam would post it to social media years later. There were never any planes. Thousands of teachers across America are signing a pledge to break the law and teach critical racial theory. New York. Massive protest against medical segregation happening right now in NYC. The death toll in the explosion in Zhombol region, Kazakhstan, has reached 13 people. UK. Large protest for medical freedom underway in #London. Trucker shortage standoff sets UK on course for food chaos. Supermarkets are struggling to keep their shelves stocked. Germany. Protests against COVID restrictions in Berlin, Germany. Afghanistan. Remarkable video from Marine LT. Colonel Stuart Skeller calling out senior leaders on Afghanistan. People are upset because senior leaders let them down, and none of them are raising their hands. France. Renewed large protests in Paris and many other cities in France against vaccine passports and mandatory vaccination. Canada. Canadian PM Trudeau heckled by crowd again, this time in Ontario. Switzerland. The Swiss people have also stood up. Oppose all kinds of autocratic dictatorship on the grounds of the COVID-ID hoax. Almost all of Europe has woken up, and the Americans come on. Afghanistan. U.S. citizens are fighting through enemy lines to get to #Kabul airport, and many are reportedly being turned away at the gates despite showing their blue passports, Fox reports. NBC News. Taliban spokesman tells Richard Engel there's no evidence after 20 years of war that bin Laden was involved in 9/11. Whoa, could a 9/11 truth nuke be coming up for the 20th anniversary? Osama was George H.W. Bush's lead CIA agent named Tim Osman. He was utilized to make you look at Afghanistan while we went in and assassinated Saddam Hussein for refusing to give up his gold standard. They also wanted Afghanistan because it's the #1 place in the world that poppy grows naturally for opium. You grow poppy, turn it into opium, or sell to big pharmaceuticals, then you have a illegal, global operation funded by the taxpayers. This barely scratches the surface, people. The Central Command reported that the U.S. launched a drone strike against ISIL in response to the suicide attack of the Islamist terrorist group at the Kabul airport on Thursday, which killed 13 U.S. servicemen and about 170 Afghans. At about the same time on Friday evening, the U.S. Embassy in Kabul posted a warning about the threat of a new terrorist attack at the airport, and also demanded that U.S. citizens immediately leave the territory. According to reports, the Taliban forces entered the military part of the Kabul airport. The U.S. may hand over control of the airport as early as tonight, according to local sources. The Pentagon denies reports that the Taliban entered the Kabul airport. BBC sources in Kabul contradict the Pentagon's denial, claiming that the Taliban have already entered and control the territory of the military part of the airport. Federal officials are on high alert for threats to America after the evacuation and the terrorist attack in Kabul, Al Jazeera quoted CNN as saying. Reports from the top leadership of the Office of Naval Intelligence, ONI, show that they instruct active and retired military personnel that they are forbidden to criticize Joe Biden for his complete incompetence, which led to the crisis in Afghanistan. A group of well-trained veterans of the U.S. Armed Forces conducts secret rescue operations behind the back of the Biden State Department, saving hundreds of Afghan allies from Afghanistan with their own efforts. The operation was called Pineapple Express. Rogue team of retired U.S. vets rescue Afghan allies during secret missions conducted behind Biden's back. The Taliban announces that citizens must surrender all weapons and government vehicles. All women must have a male escort to leave their homes for a long time. I don't think we can guarantee that Americans who want to get out of Afghanistan will be able to do it after August 31, Psaki said. The father of U.S. Marine Kareem Nakoui, who was killed in Afghanistan. I was happy when my son joined the armed forces under Trump, but Biden turned his back on him. Kamala Harris walks away laughing when a reporter asks her if Americans feel safer after Biden's unsuccessful withdrawal from Afghanistan. Biden chuckles as his handlers chase away reporters shouting questions about the 13 American servicemen killed in the Kabul bombing. Jill Biden and her dog are spending the holidays in Delaware, leaving Biden alone with the worst week in the office at the White House. The Pentagon says that only one suicide bomber exploded near the Kabul airport. We don't know why the report was provided incorrectly. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby says thousands of ISIS prisoners have been released after Biden's failed withdrawal from Afghanistan. Biden claims that ISIS is planning a complex series of attacks on United States personnel. Beatrix von Storch, who is participating in the national elections in Germany against globalist parties, said that the Turkish authorities fear that up to 5 million Afghans may try to migrate illegally after Biden's catastrophic failure in Afghanistan. Trump made a statement about the Biden problem in Afghanistan. "This would not have happened if I had been your president." The Taliban now have more Black Hawk helicopters than in 85% of the countries of the world. Psaki continues to defend the Taliban, despite the fact that they control the checkpoints that allowed the suicide bomber to reach the airport gates. She says cooperation with the Taliban is still necessary. Biden says that Trump is to blame for everything when asked if he is responsible for the deaths of American servicemen. Pakistanis with an explosive device were detained at the Turkmen embassy in Kabul. Possible storm events. Catastrophic events were said to about to happen. For months the stock market has been artificially held up and on the verge of collapse. On 1 September 2021, 7.5 million Americans would be losing their unemployment benefits. The majority of those were in arrears of car payments, leases and mortgages, with many in foreclosure. Look for a national financial crisis as those bills become due, affecting related businesses, and as the stock market officially crashes, along with loss of 95% of cryptocurrency. The storm. From all indications we were soon to experience a fake nuclear standoff between the US and Russia complicated by the Chinese Communist Party, Iran and Israel's hacking of nuclear reactors worldwide. These would be considered biblical events with fake nukes and cyber attacks and a fake beginning of World War III. Somewhere in the middle of it all Biden would be taken out of office. In reality such would give the alliance an opportunity to activate militaries worldwide and bring in a form of martial law to take down the cabal Illuminati in the largest global military operation in history. During martial law Satan-worshipping child-sacrificing global elites would be arrested and their 34 satanic empty landmarks worldwide, destroyed. We're talking the Vatican, White House X2, Washington, D.C. itself including the Washington Monument, Getty Museum and the Playboy Mansion in Los Angeles, Buckingham Palace, China's Three Gorges Dam, royal castles, the CIA headquarters at CERN on the Swiss-French border and other well-known landmarks that hid the vast network of Satan-worshipping global elite underground tunnels containing their child sex trafficking, gun and drug running network, CIA mind control laboratories, adrenochrome production. 10 days of darkness. A worldwide blackout would occur for a short amount of time in order to change over to Tesla-free energy. While mass arrests were going on, Project Odin would bring down mass media Mossad satellites, while the new Starlink internet system would take over to broadcast 3 days of 7 presidential messages and 10 days of 24/7 8-hour educational videos. Martial law would prevail until the various countries were able to have free, transparent and immediate elections using their cell phones and computers, along with the quantum computer, in order to establish governments based on concepts of the original 1776 Constitution. Whiplash 347 warning. Phones will go down. First you will get 7 presidential MSGs that go to all mobile phones worldwide before they disconnect them. This is the 7 trumpets, equals 7 kingdoms. It's for the storm. EBS is TV. Tesla-free energy blackout will be done first. Blackout necessary. This shouldn't take long. You need power for your TV emergency broadcast system and homes. Whiplash 347. The storm is almost here. Make sure you have the necessities 2 to 3 weeks worth. The military will also supply food and supplies. We are going to full global martial law. Changing over from Crown Maritime Law to 1776. Will be a transition. Castle Rock. Just about go time. On the bright side, catastrophic events that triggered martial law would see militaries of the world supplying food and necessities, while implementation of the global currency reset and GCR plus the Project Odin switch to Tesla-free energy was expected to bring prices down to the 1950s. Satanic holidays. Saturday 7 September 2021 was the next major satanic holiday, called Marriage to the Satanic Beast Satan. It was celebrated by local, global elite and international satanic covens with blood, sexual human sacrifice and dismemberment of an female age infant to 21, followed by eating their flesh and drinking their adrenochrome blood. All according to the occult calendar of demonic holidays put together by therapists from childhood accounts of their satanic ritually abused. Be aware of satanic activities in your neighborhood and help save mind-controlled children and teens being forced to participate in the rape, torture and murder of themselves and other children. Months in advance, Satan worshippers planned for their holidays by kidnapping children and teens, while commonly perpetrators impregnated preteens and teens to produce their own victims. The babies, children and teens were starved, tortured and used in sex orgies in preparation for human sacrifice rites.